I thought it was all over.
I want to get off on a big topic today. Going to be that Bucks center Ryan Jensen has been placed on IR for the pretty much the second time in 2 years. Last year he did have an injury. Even though he's the 10th ranked center, I think this is a massive blow to the Bucks. Their current depth chart doesn't really help. Jensen is 32, so he is on the older side of it. I'm going to look up their depth chart right now to see who's going to be the actual starting center now. It's going to be Robert Hainsey. Robert Hainsey, center out of Notre Dame, picked in 2021 as a third-round pick. He is also listed as questionable this time. So if that's the case, the Bucks need to go out there and get a center. I'm not really sure what their options are for top-tier centers, though. I do want to touch on this, though, because Jensen was ranked the top 10 center, and he had a great game in the Super Bowl where they won. Oh, with the Bucks. I'm sorry, I completely just zoned on the whole Brady win. I was like, wait, the Bucks have been in the Super Bowl recently? Yeah, they have. They went with Brady. So, yeah, I think this is the end of Ryan Jensen. And if it's not, he's 32. The website I looked up called it 32.2, whatever the hell that is. I'm looking at playerprofiler.com. Just looking up injuries and stuff like that. He's obviously had a lot over the years, being a lineman and everything like that, from hip strains, ankle sprains, shoulder sprain or strain, severe knee strain. Now with apparently what's going on, and I'm going to directly link the article by Jenna Lane, ESPN staff writer, posted on August 26, 2023 at 9:32 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you need to go find it, it's called Bucs center Ryan Jensen goes on IR, out for 2023 season. I just don't... he's talking about getting healed. He's talking about everything. He's been their starting center since 2018. Did participate in training camp on a limited basis that year, practicing one day on, one day off, but did not play, blah, blah, blah. He's obviously saying it broke his heart, and then that's obviously going to change quite a bit with the Bucs roster, and I couldn't agree more with that. Now, one of the things I want to point out is one of the weird picks from a few years ago was a certain team called the Baltimore Ravens drafting a guy named Tyler Linderbaum. I'm not sure if you guys remember him. He's their actual starting center right now and came out of Iowa, took him as the 25th selection in the first round. I'm looking it up right now, tied for 9th in sacks allowed with 3 in 2022, so that's amazing. I mean, dude's doing great. He's already got 1,000 snaps, tied for 8th in the league. I mean, dude is just killing it. So I think that the Bucs need to start investing more of that money on the other side of the ball. I do believe, though, with this center controversy, with this center injury, I do believe that we're going to get to the point here really, really, really quickly that the Bucs are going to explore the options of either Evans or Godwin. And at this point, would you take Evans or Godwin? That's a tough one. I love Evans. I love the history of 1,000-yard seasons. I love his verticality. But then again, I also love the short catches and the just speed of Chris Godwin. Now, obviously, they're very comparable. They're pretty close in size, not the same. Not even going to call them the same player. Like I said, I like the verticality and the size of Williams over the speed of Godwin. But it's the ages that you're going to have to honestly look at. I'm going to pull up their roster right now just to make sure. Because I want to say that Mike Evans is 31 now, which would make a lot of sense. Of course, it's not going to go. Here we go. Roster. Sorry, I'm on PFF.com. And unfortunately, I'm at the point yet where I ain't got the money to pay for PFF. So we'll get there one day where I can get a little bit more of these stats. So I'm having to find them in other places. But seriously, I love Godwin. If this will load, 6'1", 208, 4.42, drafted in 17. They grade him as the 26th highest offensive grade, which is great. Going to Evans. They rank him as 28th, so a little bit behind him, 6'5", 231, 4.53. So the speed is really close, to be honest. Been in the league since 2014, so he is going to be up there in age. And they took him 7th. Wow. Didn't even remember that. I was even a Bucs fan 14. I don't think I was a Bucs fan then. No, I had just recently switched. Because just so you know, my backstory, I'm from Florida. Grew up just south of Tampa in the Bradenton, Sarasota area. Grew up down there forever, love football, tried to be involved with it as much as I could, but I did take a different route in life. I am very happy with that decision. I am also very happy that one day, when the Carolina Panthers went to the Super Bowl and then got crushed by the Denver Broncos, which is ironic because I now live just south of Denver, Colorado, and I'm also in the process of moving again. But I decided one day that I was already a Charlotte Hornets fan. I was a Duke fan. I was a Carolina Hurricanes fan. I was Carolina everything. And so I decided that was the time to switch from the Bucs to the Carolina Panthers. It was right around that time. I believe it was the day after they won the Super Bowl. There was a crazy stat back then that Ron Rivera, every time he had an up year, he had a down year. So I decided I really like to get into teams when they're going, on the low end. So that's why I really like to pick, teams that are going to become something. I'm really happy to be a Panthers fan. I'm a diehard Panthers fan now. It's been over a decade now. So very happy with my decision. Very happy I left this team in the dust. Yes, I would have loved to enjoy their Super Bowl with them, but I'm just not a Bucs fan. I'm not a Bucs culture fan. I'm not anything. I just think that the team has a lot going for it, and they're riding the coattails of the Brady win. So I think that that's going to change now with Baker, Trask, and everybody like that. So right now, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think that your best option should be to basically go out there and look for a better offensive line talent, or at least more depth in general, because you have two centers that are hurt, one on IR and one that's just listed as questionable at the moment. But at the same time, you look towards the future. Now, I'm going to throw out a crazy one. I'm going to bust open my trade machine real quick, and we're going to do it really quick. So what I'm thinking of is the Bucs doing a trade for a quarterback. Now, obviously, there's going to be some interesting teams out there. Oh, it brought me to the NBA trade machine. I apologize. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. Trade machine and cap manager. First team I'm going to put on there is the Buccaneers, if I can find them. Buccaneers. Okay, now this would be an in-conference trade, so it would be a little tough. But there's going to be some rebuilding happening. I do see the team that I'm going to talk about after this becoming something amazing. So I think that you would have to trade one of your wide receivers. I think that you would end up having to do something like gotta be so funny to send him back. You know what? Rams trade, or it's going to be a trade with the Rams. It's going to be Mayfield and Godwin or Stafford. A little on the older side, but can really accomplish a lot more. And now there's going to have to be another player or a pick. I do believe that you could do Godwin and Mayfield directly for Stafford. So let's try that trade first. It would work. So I am going to snapshot that and put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. I think that'd be solid. You're basically adding a more tenured quarterback. He does have a 4-year contract. Baker has a 1-year, 1.1. I believe that the Rams will notice quickly that Stafford is towards the end of his tenure in the NFL, at which time they will move to Stetson Bennett to allow him to either excel at the position or just suck. And then they can just say, oh, hey, we've got a top pick, and now we can go after Caleb Williams, which would make sense because USC, Los Angeles, they're all pretty close to each other. Obviously, I like McVay. Their defensive coordinators, Raheem Morris with the Rams, LaFleur, they have some opportunities. I'm also thinking, dude, that they're going to look at Cooper Kupp at some point. I think this team is going to go through a change here. Whether or not that's getting rid of Aaron Donald, who's got 11.5% or 11.56% of their cap. But if you can move Donald and Stafford, I think that you could make quite a bit. Now, obviously, you would need a lot to make that Donald trade happen because they're going to value him at quite a bit. But other options that you could do, I'm going to open back up another one. So you guys would need a quarterback. I'm going to go to the Bucs. We're going to look at the team. So I personally like to do NFC to AFC and vice versa. When I look at the team, Steelers are going to keep their dude. Now that I think about it, the Raiders might be interesting. Okay, so these are going to be the ones that I could see possibly happening. Steelers are going to keep running Pickett, so you're done with that. Raiders, I'm going to put up a graphic later on today about Aiden O'Connell. I think that he's going to eventually lead the Raiders. Jags have Trevor Lawrence. Dolphins have Tua for the moment. Josh Allen with the Bills. Stroud with the Texans. Kansas City has the Chief. Colts have Richardson. New England has Alabama Mac. Ravens have Lamar, obviously. Browns have Watson. Chargers have Herbert. That's my boy's favorite team. Shout out, Mike. Tennessee is going to probably play Tannehill and either go to. I'm really going to laugh if they go to Levis over Malik Willis, but whatever. Jets are going to run Rodgers. Bengals are going to run Burrow. Broncos are going to run Wilson for now. So, could I see a trade where the Raiders trade Garoppolo to the Bucks for, where is he? Baker Mayfield. And then, to be honest, you're going to have to throw a pick in there just to make this trade happen. I do believe that Garoppolo is a considerably better quarterback, but I don't think you're going to need a whole lot. I'd probably throw in the 4th round 2024 pick. I think that could get the deal done. Let's try the trade. It failed. Buccaneers are unable to complete this trade because it would put them over their hard cap of $243 million or $243.6 million. Can only take back $14 million in salary. So they would need to offload about need to cut $8.3 million in salary. So let's go back. Adjust trade. So we would need to give up about $8 million, which, to be honest, I think is going to be the salary of our dude. Jesus, I'm blanking right now while I'm trying to look at names. Then Chris Godwin. Oh no, he's only on a 1-year deal or $1 million a year. And you guys don't really have any crazy salaries to undo this unless you're going to trade away Shaq Barrett, who's 30, or Mike Evans, who's 30. If they decide to do Evans, though, you really give them a squad over there. I don't think that they're going to keep that. Devontae is only at $6 million this year, bro. What if you swap Devontae, Godwin, or Devontae and Adams? Jesus, I'm saying Devontae and Adams, literally looking at Mike Evans' name. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. Let's try this. It's still going to be a little short, I think. $1.3 million. The 1.3 is not that bad then. Yeah, give up Golston. Okay, so you end up giving up. At that point, I would get rid of this. I think you're going to have to go 1 pick higher. I don't think you'd really use a 4. So this would be Garoppolo and Adams for Baker, Evans, Golston, and a 3rd round pick. If you have to go higher than that, you do have a 1 and a 2 this year, so I think that could be an option. When I go to try trade, the trade would work. I am going to save this as a thing that I'm going to put up on the screen for everybody that is watching on our video side over on YouTube. We do post a full video over there. So when I come over here, I think that's a solid trade. I mean, obviously that gives Devontae Adams a new home. It gives him, he gets to stay with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is a solid quarterback. Obviously, he does have a little bit of a health issue, but I think that that can go well. He is 31, so he is technically 2.5 years older than Baker Mayfield, but I don't think Baker's it. I think that Jimmy can win right now pretty well. Devontae Adams is 30, Mike Evans is 30, so they're right around the same. But you're talking about adding Mike Evans, Golston, and Baker to Jacobs and Crosby, Renfro, Carlson. I mean, there's a solid team on the other side. Now, obviously, the Bucs are kind of in the same boat. Now, my other option would be for the Broncos next year. It's going to have to be next year. Of course, they won't allow me to add it for next year. Russell Wilson, he's getting $8 million this year. So Bucs get Russell Wilson. He'd be a 35-year-old Russell Wilson at that point with a crazy contract. You would have to get rid of Baker. Obviously, if this trade happens during the middle of the year, if it happens off and you guys don't sign Baker, he's going to be out of the equation. But right now, his current salary is $8 million. Oh, God, there's some good ones on the other side. Tim Patrick, Purcell, Judy. I think that they would have to give up another piece. So personally, I like Shaq Barrett. He's 30. Eshawn Vaughn. I'm trying to look at Ryan Jensen. To be honest, ship Ryan Jensen out. He's a center. They don't really get traded as much, but he'll be a 33-year-old center, and therefore he'll have more value. I think at that point, then you can offer a 6th-round pick. You know what? You might actually have to go higher. 3rd-round pick. If you did a 2 for the last one, you need to do a 3 here, or vice versa. If you did a 3 for the first one, you need to do a 2 here. Let's just try this. It would work. It'd send Ryan Jensen, Baker Mayfield at a 3rd-round pick to the Broncos, straight up for Russell Wilson. So you're basically losing a little bit of that center depth, which you're already losing this year because he's on IR, hurt for the 2nd year in a row. But you add a little bit more of a seasoned vet in Russell Wilson. I don't agree that he is going to be a real solution down the road. I think that he is going to fall off hardcore, but obviously we could see crazier things. Like I said, I think the top two ones would be to go get Garoppolo, because I do believe that the Raiders are going to move off of Garoppolo and head towards Aiden O'Connell. Now, when we talk about the other one, the Rams, I think that it could really, really make sense to send Stafford to a place that's a little warmer, a little bit more of a relaxed town, since he is a little bit of his senior age. He does need to recover more. He needs to take care of himself more. All of those things that he could possibly learn from the things that Brady left behind with the Buccaneers. But obviously, as we move forwards, I think that the trade is going to have to happen at some point. The Bucs are going to have to go get a quarterback. Now, obviously, if they're looking at the next draft, there's obviously some guys coming out. The one that I'm thinking of right off, sorry, my computer's being weird this morning. Caleb Williams, he's going to be the top one. I don't know, man. He looked great in his first game. Don't get me wrong. This year, they smoked their competition. I'm very excited for the future. But the one that I think they'd probably look at is Drake May, because they're obviously not going to draft one. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be up there. I'm pretty sure he is not, like 99.9% not a quarterback. He's just a second-rate person. Yeah, he's a wide receiver. Drake May is the third ranked. I'm trying to go down this list of ones that they're saying are going to get drafted. So those are the top two, and I'm down to the second page already. Oh, Quinn Ewers. Ooh. I'm not going to lie. Bucks go get Quinn Ewers. I really loved him in college. Obviously, now he's got Manning behind him, so it's going to be tough. But, boy, Quinn Ewers, I think, could be a real powerhouse in the end. Bo Nix is the other one from Oregon. Trying to see if there's anybody else that really... Michael Penix from Washington. Not really a ton of QBs coming out this year. I mean, I'm already on page 6. We're already in the 60s. So, yeah, there's only like a few quarterbacks. KJ Jefferson from Arkansas. Hold on. You know who I bet is going to come out this year? Spencer Rattler, the former number one or projected number one pick. Boy, I bet he comes out this year too. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. But regardless, Bucs fans, keep your head up. I think that you guys are going to either trade for a quarterback, or obviously if you don't trade, you're going to draft one. But just keep your eye out. Baker and Trask are not the solution. If Trask was, he would have beaten Baker. So with that, I'm going to wish the Bucs the best of luck. You're in my division, so I'll hopefully you guys go 0-2 against my Panthers. Otherwise, you can win pretty much every other game. But good luck to you guys. I really hope that here soon you guys can really start picking up the pace.